Before the goodbye stretches longer than planned and staying becomes a choice, make sure you're still here. Subscribe to Emo Saga for grounded, sensual romances where every moment makes sense from start to finish. The goodbye was supposed to be quick. That's what I tell myself as I gather my coat, smiling politely, repeating the same soft phrases everyone else is using. Great night, we should do this again, drive safe. The kind of words that mean something socially but rarely linger emotionally. I'm already half out of the moment. Then he reaches for his keys. I'll head out, he says, voice calm, unhurried. That should have been the end of it. Instead, I follow him. It's not dramatic. I don't rush. I just don't turn back toward the group when he heads for the door. The decision surprises me only after it's already made. I'll walk you out, I hear myself say. He pauses just long enough to look at me. All right, he replies. No question. No assumption. Just acceptance. The hallway outside the room is quieter, the noise behind us dulling as the door closes. The building feels different once you step away from people, less performative, more honest. Our footsteps echo softly. So, I say, searching for something neutral. Long night. Yes, he agrees. But a good one. I nod. Yeah, it was. The silence that follows isn't awkward. It's expectant. I've known him for a while. Not closely. We've crossed paths at events like this before. Shared conversations, polite smiles, nothing that demanded attention afterward. He's familiar enough that being alone with him doesn't feel strange, but unfamiliar enough that my awareness sharpens. I notice the way he walks, unhurried, grounded, the way he doesn't fill silence just to avoid it. That's new. Outside, the night air is cool and steady. Streetlights cast warm circles along the pavement. A few cars idle nearby, engines humming softly. He stops near the curb. This is me, he says. The words land heavier than they should. Thanks for coming tonight, I say. For inviting me, he replies. Another pause. This is the moment where I should step back. Smile. Let it end cleanly. Instead I stay. Not blocking him. Not crowding. Just there. You heading straight home? I ask. Yes. I nod. Same. We both know that's not true. I wasn't ready to go home yet. He shifts his weight slightly, turning toward me more fully. The movement closes the space between us without crossing it. You okay? He asks, quiet but attentive. Yes, I say. Just tired. Me too. The shared admission feels intimate in a way it shouldn't. A car passes, headlights briefly illuminating his face. I notice, then really notice, the steadiness in his expression, the lack of impatience. He's not rushing this. He's not rushing me. I should let you go, I say. Yes, he agrees. Still, neither of us moves. The silence stretches. This one feels different, thicker, more deliberate. I don't usually follow people out, I admit. I don't usually mind being followed. He replies, then pauses. That came out wrong. I laugh softly. No, it didn't. He smiles just slightly. The wind picks up, brushing against my arms. I shiver without meaning to. He notices instantly. Cold, he asks. A little. He steps closer, not touching, but positioning himself so his body blocks the breeze. The difference is immediate. Intentional. My breath catches, not because of the temperature. Better, he asks. Yes. I don't move away. Neither does he. This is where things could still remain simple. Two people lingering. Nothing promised. Nothing crossed. But something in the way he's standing, close enough that I can feel the warmth of him, makes my pulse slow instead of spike. This feels grounded. Considered. I don't want this to feel awkward, I say quietly. It doesn't, he replies. And I don't want it to feel like obligation. It doesn't, he repeats. You're here because you chose to be. That lands deeper than reassurance ever could. I look at him fully now. So are you? Yes, he says. I am. His hand lifts slowly, deliberately, not to grab, not to pull. It settles at my lower back. Warm, steady, protective without being possessive. The contact is unmistakably intimate and completely unhurried. I don't step away. Tell me if this isn't okay, he says. It is, I reply. The answer feels certain. The city hums around us, indifferent. A couple passes a few feet away, laughing, oblivious. We remain still. Connected. This was supposed to be a goodbye, I say. Yes. And now? He studies my face carefully. Now it feels like a moment we don't rush through, he says. His thumb presses lightly, just once, against my back, a subtle question. I lean in. Just slightly. Enough to answer. His arm settles more firmly around me, pulling me closer without urgency. My body fits against his naturally, like this distance has been negotiating itself all night. I rest my hand against his chest, not gripping, just anchoring. Neither of us speaks. We don't need to. This feels deliberate, I murmur. It is, he replies. Nothing about this is accidental. The clarity in his voice steadies something inside me. I tilt my head slightly, close enough now to feel his breath. He doesn't kiss me. Not yet. Instead, his forehead rests briefly against mine. A quiet, intimate pause that feels heavier than a kiss. You don't rush endings, I say softly. No, he replies. I prefer to know what I'm stepping into. And what is this? I ask. He opens his eyes, meets my gaze. This, he says, is the moment between leaving and choosing to stay. My heart thuds once. Slow. Certain. I don't pull away. I don't hesitate. I let my body relax fully into his hold. Then don't let go yet, I say. He doesn't. The night stretches quietly around us. And I realize with surprising calm, this didn't turn strange. It didn't become complicated. It became intimate because neither of us pretended the goodbye meant nothing. The night doesn't rush us. That's the first thing I notice as the seconds pass. The city hums at a distance, cars moving in steady intervals, streetlights flickering softly as if nothing remarkable is happening here at all. And yet everything has changed. His arm is still around me, firm but relaxed, like he's not trying to hold me in place, only to be present with me. My body has settled into his without resistance. A quiet confirmation that this closeness isn't an accident or a mistake. This feels calm, I say softly. Yes, he replies. It does. Not charged in a frantic way. Not overwhelming. Just grounded. Chosen. We stand there longer than either of us expected to. Not frozen. Just unwilling to interrupt something that finally feels honest. I don't usually let moments stretch like this, I admit. He tilts his head slightly, listening. Why not? Because stretching moments sometimes turns into expectations, I say. And I don't like disappointing people. His hand shifts slightly at my back. Not tightening, not pulling away. Just adjusting, like he's settling into the truth of what I said. I don't expect anything from you tonight, he says calmly. I'm here because I want to be. That's all. The simplicity of it loosens something in my chest. I lift my head just enough to look at him. You're very clear, I say. I try to be, he replies. Especially when it matters. And this matters? Yes. No hesitation. No dramatic emphasis. Just certainty. A couple walks past us again, this time closer. They glance briefly, then look away, polite and uninterested. To them, we probably look like two people sharing a quiet goodbye. They have no idea how deliberate this stillness is. I shift slightly, adjusting my stance, and his arm follows the movement naturally, keeping the same distance between us. You're very aware of space, I say. I am, he replies. You don't like feeling cornered. That catches my attention. How do you know that? Because you stepped closer to me, he says. But you never backed away from the door. He noticed. That matters. I smile faintly. You're observant. So are you, he replies. You notice when I didn't step back. The shared awareness feels intimate in a way that goes beyond touch. Eventually, we separate slightly, not because the moment ends, but because standing still forever would turn intention into inertia. He drops his arm but doesn't step away. I don't either. So, I say quietly, what happens now? He considers the question carefully. Now, he says, we don't pretend this was just politeness. And we don't overinterpret it either, I add. He nods. Exactly. The alignment feels steady, not precarious. We begin walking slowly down the sidewalk, side by side this time. Our hands brush occasionally, unavoidable in the narrow space, but neither of us uses it as an excuse to grab or retreat. Feels balanced. You didn't have to walk me out, he says. I know. But you did. Yes. And you didn't rush back inside. No. We both smile at that. We reach his car. He stops, one hand resting on the roof as he turns toward me again. This is usually where I say goodnight, he says. And tonight? I ask. Tonight, he replies. I want to say something else. He waits. Not because he's unsure, but because he's giving me space to leave if I want to. I don't. I like the way you stayed, he says. Not just physically. Emotionally. I swallow. That's not something people usually notice. I noticed, he replies. And what does that mean? I ask. It means I'd like to see you again, he says. Not because we shared a moment, but because I want to see how it continues. The phrasing matters. Not what this becomes. How it continues. I exhale slowly. I'd like that too, I say. But I don't want it to feel rushed. It won't, he says immediately. I don't rush things I want to keep. That lands deeply. He steps closer again. Not into me this time, but close enough that the space feels intentional rather than empty. May I? He asks quietly. I nod. Yes. This time when he pulls me closer, it's with clarity. His arm wrapping around my back, my hands resting naturally at his sides. The contact feels familiar now, like we already know how to fit together without instruction. He kisses me then. Not hurried. Not demanding. A slow, deliberate kiss that feels like agreement rather than impulse. I respond easily, my body relaxed instead of tense, my mind present instead of racing. When we part, it's mutual. Necessary. That, I murmur, felt settled. He smiles softly. That's because it was. We don't linger too long after that. Not because we need to escape, but because we don't need to prove anything. He opens the car door, then pauses. I'll text you tomorrow, he says. Coffee? I suggest. He nods. Daylight. Good, I reply. I like seeing how things hold up when they're not hidden by night. So do I. We part cleanly. No acuerdos. No ningeringan certainty. Just a sense of continuation. The next day, coffee feels easy. Familiar. We talk about small things first, work routines, the kind of conversations that test whether attraction survives normalcy. It does. Easily. You're exactly the same, he says at one point. So are you, I reply. That's a relief, he smiles. Days pass. Then weeks. What we're building doesn't feel fragile or dramatic. It unfolds slowly, dinners, walks, shared silences that feel comfortable rather than heavy. One evening, we attend another gathering together. Different venue. Different people. Same polite goodbyes. When it's time to leave, he reaches for his keys again. And without thinking, I follow him. He glances at me amused. Habit, he asks. Choice, I reply. Outside, the night air feels familiar. He stops. Turns toward me. You know, he says softly. You don't have to follow me anymore. I smile. I know. I step closer anyway. Now it's not about goodbyes. It's about knowing when you want to stay. Some moments are supposed to end cleanly. Others are meant to open into something quieter, steadier, and more intentional. Ours didn't become complicated because it was simple. It became meaningful because we didn't pretend the goodbye was just a formality. We noticed it. We stayed with it. And when it mattered, we chose not to let go.